And we're back. A couple days gone past. I had some stuff going on. Put a little bit more green here to kind of hide some of the yellow that was kind of peeking through. So I bought a polarizing filter for my camera for the photo shoot coming up. And I was going to try to see if it can reduce some of the shininess. So I'm going to rotate the lens, the filter here. See what I see? Okay, that knocks it out. It's knocking it off of the wall, certainly. That's going back, so. All right, so it helps. It's not 100%, but what if I move this light up? That's a little better. Okay. Anyhow, all right. So I found the original image that I used to make this pattern, and I'll put that up here. You can get a better idea of what I'm doing. I'm not going to do all the wood grainy effects, but I am going to do some of the highlighting. And let me pull it up my own reference. All right. So in the image, it looks like the light is coming down. So the edge along here and here, and here and here are going to be a lighter color. And then here, 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 and here are going to be darker, like it's been beveled. And these parts, the bottom parts, are in shadow, whereas these are catching the light. So what I'm going to do is put up my masking tape. I'm going to define those areas. There we go. And then I'll just trim it off. I'm trying to be consistent about how big I do this. Stop it. Stop it. I'm just going to eyeball it, which foreshadowing, I don't know, but I might come to regret that idea later, but you don't know what you don't know. So this is going to be a darker area, so I'm going to cut this away here. There we go. Boop and a boop. Kelly, you know this isn't the best masking tape. Why do you keep using it? Because it's what I got. Cheap. And I haven't really been to any place other than Michael's, but I didn't look for masking tape there, so I'll just make this go. Here, let me just trim this a bit. What can I trim this on? I'll just trim it on my table. There we go. It's a cheap work table that I got at Myers, so if it gets a scratch on it, it won't be the first, won't be the last. That's it. And oh, lovely back of your head, Kelly. Oh, thank you. I work real hard. Professional in my video making. Oh, yeah, no. You know, that's a little too skinny. Why don't you get a ruler and make marks? But that would require getting up. And, you know, doing things. We will measure in millimeters because it's a finer gradient. And even though we're America, we're not that America. Yeah, I'm caught. Oh, let's start over. Do maybe 3 mil or something like that. Save that. Save that. And do I have a pencil here? Of course not. All right. All right, I marked 4 millimeter spots, and I moved this to the edges. That way it's going to be easier to put the tape in than having to worry about hitting things and stuff. I'm going to reuse that tape, but I'm just going to use some longer stuff, and then I'll trim back. reasonably assured that is the wrong way of doing that. There, because we're trying to define the edge, and we're starting with the darker color. So for here, I want to put my 4mm mark. Then I will cut away. Do not hold a knife in your teeth. Oh, but why not? It's my third hand. All right. Let me look at my image again. Reference back. All right. So that's dark and that's dark. Okay. I know I described what I'm doing, but, you know, remembering exactly what I said, you know, double checking is good. Why did I use that? I'm just going to save that piece because I already cut pieces that are going to be a usable length for this. Oh, yeah. And whatever, I'll look at it when I do. Sorry, things going through my brain. It's like, is that right? I'm going to second guess myself until I just do it and know that I did it right. And I do have lines, yes. Do I? Where's the line up here? There it is. Yeah, I got it. Yay. All right. Okay. I don't think this one's right. This is just not hitting right for me. Yeah, it's getting too skinny there. I missed it somehow. Well, it's not going to be exact, but it'll be good enough. All right, cool. Now we're actually ready to paint, I think. So we're just going to mix up our green and a little bit of black. Or do I have another green? Let me check my box of paints. Paint box. I got some of this sap green. It's a little transparent though, so what phthalo green is not what we want. This can look a little too iridescent. It's cad green. Why does that look like hunter green? Weird. Really, never check, never trust what the printed label is. That is not that, even close. It's like they used the wrong color. I mean, if you ever have the chance of looking at paint and you can take the top off at the store and see what it actually is. Now, it will darken as it dries. You can see the crusties down here are darker than the actual wet paint. And this went off. Focus on that. There we go. So I'm just going to use, I'll mix in a little bit of the sap green. I don't have that much anyhow. And this is cad green, cadmium. I don't think it actually contains any actual cadmium, but which is good because cadmium is actually toxic. The old paints back in like the late 18th, 1900s did have those paints and they were toxic. Arsenic makes it pretty green too, I guess, but I won't be using arsenic in my paints. Thank you very kindly. Kelly, can't imagine why not. You want to recreate the authentic what? Arsenic poisoning? I'll pass. I'm not really into period dyeing. I live in the 21st century. I'm happy here. In my youth, I used to do the SCA, which is the Society for Creative Anachronism. And that's more of a medieval role-playing / recreation group. These brushes. I'm still mad that I use this to, clean up super glue. Maybe I'll have to get some acetone and just soak it in that and see what that does. Because for painting, that's largely useless now. All right, I'm going to use this round brush. Round number 3. I'm just going to, in my little well-used palette, I'm just going to mix it live and see what I get. And I can tell like that sap green is, I got that for Christmas a few years ago from, I think either my son or my son's roommate. And it's a really nice gift, but they're like a sample pack and they're low density pigments. Basically the pigment defines how good the paint is, whether it's transparent or not. And these were cheap paints, cheap beginner paints. And yeah, they were pretty transparent, but for adding to stuff, it's not too bad, I guess. All right, so that is, I'm going to temporarily peel this back. That's not bad. It's not going to be in your face obvious. And I'm just going to try to do this as a single coat so it'll dry quickly and I can get onto the highlighting. So if it's not a perfect line, I'm going to be okay with that, I think. Trouble with painting on the mixing on your palette is that unless you do a real thorough job, you're going to get variation. Like you'll pick up a little bit of the unmixed sap green and a little bit of the unmixed cad green, and you'll get lighter and darker, which for stuff like I did with the Breath of Loki is fine because, you know, human flesh and all that has natural variations in it. But if you're trying to do flat colors, it can really stand out. But this is a small area. See how I got that lighter right there? Yeah, I don't want that. Maybe I'll zoom in on that when the final video is made. All right, so let that sit. We're going to do the bottom of the top area, the bottom of the top versus the top of the bottom. That'll come later. And I could start the whole joke about bottoms and tops, which will be hilarious to a certain segment of my viewing population. Go over the head for some, and potentially be offensive to others. Oh, Lordy. She had an innuendo in her video. It's like, bitch, I ain't monetized. What do I care? Another thing YouTube could do is make me pull the video, or just pull it for me. And, oh well, I think I already talked about that. This is a hobby. This is something I do for fun. I do not get paid. You have no power here. I know, I said I wasn't gonna worry too much, but worrying's kind of my bag. That's what I do. All right, you can see I overworked a little bit, started to dry. I can probably fix that a bit. All right, stop. Stop. All right. Choo. And I'm going to pull off this area. It's been an interesting week. My girlfriend has bought a house, and I've been helping her, like moving, getting it ready and stuff like that. Like, not this last week, but the week before. I was over there just about every day. But then she tore her meniscus, and so kind of just stopped working until she feels better. Well, she's getting treatment and is doing better. So I'm going to go over later today and help her get her TV at least moved, at least unloaded from the vehicle, her vehicle. It's like she needs help loading it too, but that's in Brownsburg, and I try to avoid driving any real distances when I don't have to. So I'm going to limit my interaction and my back expenditure, because it's like I have a budget, with just unloading. And unless something's radically changed, we're not going to be ready for installing the TV anyhow. So, all right, hair dryer. I'm going to accelerate the drying process so I can get the top color masked off. And after I get the highlight part done, I'll pull off all the tape and see what modifications I need to do to everything. Let's make sure we're still focused. Okay, good. Still a little wet there, but yeah, whatever. All right, reference points is here, and that is not 4 mil, Kelly. Here and here. It's a little wet there, but it should be okay. Where is my mark? I see the bottom one. I see the top one. Well, it wouldn't be one of my projects if I did forget something. Easily fixed. There. Just reuse some of this tape. Is that correct? Getting feelings that that's not correct. It's not. I had claimed that I was drunk at the time, but I haven't had a drink yet today. I know the day's still young. Here we go. The day is still young. I'm going to cut this away here because I need to put tape down. Tell you what, and I'm sure I've said this before, but if you're a crafter, scalpels, specifically the scalpel with the pointy edge here. I had one that had like the rounded kind, which is still useful. I have no idea where the blades went to that though. I still have the handle, but the pointy kind, chef's kiss. Mwah. Really enjoy that. It just feels better in the hand than an X-Acto knife with the round handle. X-Acto, you need to make a handle like this. But, you know, interest, I guess. I don't know. It's like surgeons been using scalpels like this for ever. And they're doing this stuff for hours and hours and hours. I think they know what the hell they're doing. All right, so let's see. There's even a little centimeter mark on it. I guess for ballparking, because it's not hyper precise, because I guess if you laid things on it. I've never used it for actually measuring anything. I bet you I cut that tore that short. No, maybe not. Yes, maybe so. This should really be the last of the masking I'm thinking I need to do. At least, you know, straight line masking. I could be wrong. Where is the mark? Oh, brain. There it is. Can I trade in my brain? At least my ability to perceive small graphite marks on a shiny acrylic surface. I mean, why did I evolve that? It's got to be a survival technique on some part of the multiverse, is it not? All right, so we're gonna mix up a lighter color. Now, let's look at the colors again. I'm thinking a little bit of yellow. Did I have a lighter green? I do. Cadmium green. That's, in theory, the same color. Different manufacturers. Dark green. Oh, well, it would have been transparent anyhow. So, well, there's the yellow ochre. I knew I had it somewhere. It wouldn't have been enough. All right, so lemon yellow. Put a little bit here. I don't want my liner brushes out. What brush was I using? I was using the number 3 round. What did I do with that? Is this it? Number 3 round. Perfect. So I have it in this little cup. I'm just pulling a little bit out here because I don't want to go near, I was mixing the darker color. So you can see it's lighter, but not lighter enough in this. It's a little goopy. But it's a little yellower, but you know, there's a lot of yellow in this, so we should be okay, I would think. And it's little areas I'll have to come back and fix at some point before I'm done. Sometimes you don't see it unless you're like right there. See, I got the yellow over the green there. I'll have to just come in with a little bit of green, touch it up. Maybe I will when I take the tape off, I'll be doing touch-ups, so. Mix. Didn't mix enough. Now I'm going to try to approximate what I had just done. I could not imagine painting like they did in the Renaissance, where you had to grind your pigments into as fine a powder as you can, and then use like, I guess egg yolk. I always thought it was egg white, but it's egg yolk. And there's to make a tempura or whatever. That's its own special kind of painting. And then, or painting into wood plaster, because you're on the clock then. Because that plaster is not going to stay very wet very long. And I guess painting on wooden panels was the norm. I remember when I was doing my research for the Birth of Venus, which became Birth of Loki. It was unusual because it was painted on canvas, and I got my brush in my mouth. Like I said, third hand, which was considered cheaper. It was meant to be just a cheap painting. You know, it was for a bridal chamber type of thing. It wasn't meant to be a serious thing, so it gave the artist more liberties, I guess. You know, and they save money by not having to have a fine wooden panel of the size, because it's like 5 foot by 8 foot, or maybe 9 foot. I don't remember exactly what it was. So it was big. It was almost life size. And here I am reproducing it on a 16 by 20 inch canvas. I'll put a link in the description, or maybe a card, probably over here, if I remember to do that, of my painting video of it. Likely if you're watching this pseudo stream, you've probably already seen it, so. Yeah, that was a fun project that year, doing a painting a month. Maybe I'll do that again next year. I will definitely have to factor in doing Inktober, because I very much doing it like Inktober. It's a nice challenge. I'm really debating this year, since I have my drawing tablet and I really want to get more practice in on it, whether I should stay doing traditional medium or do everything on the tablet itself. Or maybe I'll mix it up, you know, do some ways, some of the other. I don't know. I know the videos I've done on tablets, you know, they haven't exactly been high quality drawings. They were quick, recommended ones, either by my niece or other people who saw them, and it's like, oh, could you do this character? And it's like, sure. Why not? And not everyone's cup of tea, but, you know, it's content, I guess. And it's also challenged me to use the tablet more. Part of the challenge doing that is I work all day at that same computer, like 8-9 hours. It's like, plus if I'm editing a video, you know, that's more hours at it. And it's like, I get tired of sitting at that desk. All right, light color's up. Let's peel off our mask. should really have the trash can right next to me. Here we go. There. Sticky. I hate sticky. Sticky, sticky, sticky. Let's get rid of this crap. Do, 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 do. There's that. And this transition area, I'm definitely gonna have to touch up a little bit. And there's a little bit of underleak, which I expected because, you know, this masking tape. All right. I don't know why I wrapped that behind there. Yeah, I got a little wide there. I can fix it. I can fix it with more masking tape. Yeah. All right, let's see how much I messed up the blackboard. Oh, that's not bad. Well, black is easy because it is a literal flat color. Well, single colors, unmixed. Ooh, okay. Sticky, sticky, sticky. 36. Still got plenty of time. I might stop and restart. This video's gone on probably longer than I expected, but whatever. It's just a stream that nobody's going to watch, or hardly anybody's going to watch, so. It's just amusing me to do it. All right. You might see me occasionally do this. It brings the hairs to a point. I try to not do that when there's actual paint on the brush, but I tend to forget sometimes. Oh, don't put your hand there, Kelly. There's a little bit of green showing through here, but there's going to be other things in that area, so at the end, if it happens to be visible, I'll address it then. But for the most part, I'm not going to worry about it. Corners are a different matter. Because they will be populated. Or they'll have the black exposed. I don't know why I said populated. That's kind of weird. My brain is weird. Weird, weird, weird. I have some yellow left over. Where did I put it? Let me go grab it. Here it is. It's behind me on a thing it shouldn't have been on. Still looks wet, which is good because I need it to be. All right, let's make sure we're still focused. Tap on thing. All right, cool beans. So this is the modified yellow oxide that I'd use for the background. It has a little bit of, I forget what color, like yellow, I think. Excuse me. Phlegmy all of a sudden. Flemish. I am from Flanders. Which is more or less Belgium these days, I guess. It's like I even know about Flanders because art history classes and genealogy. Because I have some Flemish ancestors. Not many. Really? That is so me. And over here. Amazing, just a little bit of cleanup just makes it so much better. Focusing on the back of my head, are we? No. Here. AI autofocus is the best thing in the world until it's not. Canvas. Because my head's getting in the way. I have a big head, what can I say? A fat head. Well, if you can put your fat head in the middle of the scene, the camera won't try to focus on it, huh? Maybe? Maybe. All right. I wish I had like a screw lid for this. Whatever. I should get one of those old medicine bottles and use that. That would make more sense. That's what smart people would do. I know I say things about myself. They're just jokes. They're just silliness things. Although I has the smarts and I have some skill at this. And I also know that I'd be a lot better had I not stopped doing this for many, many years. But you can't take back the past and one's own mental health issues at the time and one's circumstances that you find yourself into. So there's no point beating myself up over it. So I try not to. And this is a skill. And I hear people say, well, I can never do that. It's like, you don't know that because you probably never actually tried doing it. And I'll guarantee with a high degree of certainty that if you start to paint, your first paintings are going to look like shit. More or less. I mean, compared to how they will look later. I mean, you don't want to compare yourself to others. Because I've been doing this for years, off and on. So it is essentially a lot of practice, like any other thing. Practice, practice, practice. And you learn the shortcuts and the techniques. Having a talent is most likely just having an initial advantage and aptitude to learning, but it's not having a talent is not an impediment from learning. You know, it's like you're given an initial +2 at the skill versus everyone else is going to start at 0. But if you don't develop that skill by doing it, you never advance beyond the +2. You know, as people actually keep practicing and practicing and practicing, they get better and better and better. I'm kind of using a RPG terminology here, but it's fairly accurate, I think. Or maybe it's like you get an extra 2% to learning the skill. Maybe some things just click easier. But that's not going to stop you from being able to do it if you don't have that bonus. And if you want to paint, you know, you have the time and the energy and the aptitude to do it, just do it. And if people think your work looks like shit, Bug them. You know, you're not doing it for them unless you're doing it for them. But you should do stuff like this for yourself more than anything else. Anybody who doesn't appreciate a gift of art for the hard work that it is, then I don't think they're really worth your time. My ex did not appreciate a lot of the type of work paintings that I enjoyed doing. So she would discourage me from doing it because she wanted to see like landscapes. It's like I had painted so many landscapes when I was younger. I just was so sick and burned out about doing them that if that's the thing I had to paint, then I just simply wouldn't paint. So I like more surreal, you know, challenging type of things, and she did. So she didn't tell me to stop painting, but there's enough negativity. My parents didn't really get it either, so I didn't get a lot of encouragement to continue doing stuff. Shysta. Can I mix some of the shadowy color with what I have left that's not dry? Maybe. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm trying to... Let me see what the original looks like. References are a good thing. Oops. All right, so I'm just going to give this a slight bit of shadowy here in the corners, where everything kind of came in and just added to the shading a little bit, even if it's the highlight area. It's not fully highlighted. Highlight. I don't know. Put the light in and then darken it. Sorry, I am mixing paint and trying to not I just noticed I had a medium green showing off from under, and I don't want that. All right, now pull down a little bit of the dark. All right, can I put a little dark here? Fatten this up a little bit. Grab a little water. One thing I notice people do as beginners is they won't fill in properly. They'll leave dots from the canvas exposed. It's like they're afraid, they think they did a good job on a particular area, and I'm sure they did. I'm just talking generically here. They're afraid of screwing it up, so they don't want to go over. Like if they mixed a particular color and they don't think they could remix it because, you know, you're just mixing randomly. It's like it's hard to, you know, recapture that. And so they won't build it up. So what you should do is block in areas of color with approximately what you want. And then go in and with the color you actually want. And start working it that way. That way, if a little bit can be seen through, it's going to be something that's going to be closer. It's not going to be less like the dots from the canvas texture. I believe I talked about this earlier. That's one thing that'll definitely improve your game, improve the appearance of your final piece tremendously, is just not having, unless you're looking for it specifically, but not having canvas showing through. It's very thin in this spot, and you're afraid to go over it. All right. I'm going to end this here. I'll get this out. I think next time I will be doing the purples for the center area. And we'll go from there. All right. Thanks for joining me on this little journey. Bye-bye.